What's going on, YouTube family? Tyler O'Connor here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight for some more lake breakdowns. That's right, you know I'm never going to give up on these things. I'm just going to keep breaking them down for you guys. I love it. It's tons of fun, and hopefully you guys are taking full advantage of these and going out to the site, simplisticfishing.com, and getting your waypoints. I'm telling you, it's going to change the way that you fish. So tonight, we are jumping down, going down South Texas this time to a lake called Choke Canyon Reservoir. We're going to go down, go through the Google Earth hotspots tonight, see what we can find. Then we'll circle back. We'll talk about the offshore stuff as well. Make sure you guys have everything you need to go out there and find the bass fast. Let's not delay anymore. Let's jump into it. Here we go. Choke Canyon Reservoir, number 1. If you've watched any of my videos before, the first thing I like to do before I break down any of the lakes in Texas is to go out to the Texas Park and Wildlife page and go out to their fishing page and just kind of see what kind of information that I can gather from the lake, just general information about it, things like that. So that's where we're at right now. You can see we're on Choke Canyon Reservoir. Choke Canyon is on the Frio River watershed in Live Oak and McMullen counties. It's about 4 miles west of Three Rivers. So we're talking South Texas here. Surface area is about 25,670 acres, so pretty decent sized lake. Maximum depth 95 feet, so definitely getting a lot deeper than some of the lakes that we have here around the DFW area. And this lake was impounded in 1982. Now, the one thing that I want to caution you on here, and this is going to be very similar like what we did on the lakes out in West Texas, is the current lake level. You're going to notice right here that the conservation pool for this lake is 220.5 feet, right? Current lake level right now is actually only 201 feet. So that is not good. That means that the lake is down about 19 feet. And you can see here the percentage full is 42% full. So this lake is going to be way, way, way down. The good news is, I guess for us, not for the lake, is the lake has actually came down a lot more than this before. So we're still able to get some really good imagery from it from Google Earth to tell what's going on there. So even though the lake is down 19 feet right now, we can still find some additional stuff to show you guys on where to fish. So pretty cool stuff. All right, so aquatic vegetation, it just says it has some water stargrass, American pondweed, coontail, cattail, and moderate densities of hydrilla. So we've got some of that out there. The predominant species in this lake, largemouth bass, white bass, crappie, blue and channel flathead catfish, bluegill, red deer sunfish, and alligator gar. I went and looked at the records. I won't bore you guys with that, but the lake record was back in 2009 for a largemouth bass was 15 pounds. So they have got some donkeys in this lake. So definitely worth going down and fishing. You can see down here when it talks about angling opportunities, largemouth bass for this lake is excellent. So is the blue and flathead catfish and the channel catfish too. And you can see crappie, white bass, and sunfish are all rated as good too. So looks like a really good lake to go to. Definitely one of those I have on my bucket list. In fact, Captain Ron, if you're listening, I plan on reaching out to you at some point in time and having you take me down to Choke Canyon and show me the goods down there, because I understand you got that lake figured out. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to switch over to Choke Canyon Reservoir. We're going to go into Google Earth. We're going to see what we can find. So here we go. We're going down to Choke Canyon Reservoir. Again, this is south of San Antonio, so we're pretty far South Texas on this one. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit so you can see it. And then let's just talk about this left-hand side and what we have over here and how we have this lake all sorted out. So first off, we have offshore hotspots that are all marked out there for you. Now, one thing to note on these offshore hotspots is that some of them, as of right now, with the lake being almost 20 foot low, are actually going to be onshore. They're not even going to look like offshore spots. But the good news is we still found plenty of other spots to look out here that are still really good offshore hotspots that are still, have plenty of water around them. So you kind of get a mixture there as the lake fluctuates. These other points that are not really even under the water right now, they become in play as the water fluctuates, especially this spring. Hopefully we'll get a chance for that water to rise. So we got all the offshore hotspots marked. We've also got ramps. There weren't very many ramps on this lake, only like 3 or 4 different ramps. So nothing major there. Had some pretty good channels that are back in here on this northern side, this northwestern side. So some really good stuff to mark for you guys there. We also found quite a few road beds on this lake. So a lot of underwater road beds. We've got those marked for you guys with tracks. So that makes it really nice. We've also got pond dams. So found several different pond dams throughout the lake to mark for you guys. You can see those right there. They're in that little orange color. And then of course, you know me, we like to mark anything that's going to be, like a fish attracting area, and rocks, of course, are our big attractor for bass. So we marked all the rock on this lake that we could find by drawing the water down, or just the rock that we saw up on the bank line, riprap, stuff like that. So there's not really a ton of rock on this lake. There's a handful of it here and there, not a ton, but definitely enough to be able to fish and to have some success. You can see that, the different pockets of rock. And then last but not least is really just cover. This is really anything that, that was different than just the standard stuff that we could group out. Like here, you see there's a sunken boat. There's a really good group of trees here you could fish. There's a pretty good saddle over there. There's trees over here. There's brush piles, different kind of point to fish. So just some different type of cover for you guys to take a look at. So let's go ahead and back this out. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to come up here to the river system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start drawing this water back until we can get a really good image of this lake being down. Now, remember, right now in 2022, this lake's already 20 feet down. So the image we're looking at right now is already having it, being pretty low. So let's see if we can get this thing back. I think we're going to go back to 2015, I believe it is. We're taking our sweet time to get back here. Actually, that might be it right there. 326 is a pretty good image that exposes quite a bit of stuff for us. So let's go ahead and stick with that one. Let me see if we have anything better. I don't think we do. I think that's the best one we had. But just making sure. So back in 2018, definitely. Click this up one more and just get this to move back for me a little bit more. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much here. So let's go ahead and stick with, we're sticking with it. Yeah, because when we get to 2013, now all of a sudden, all that stuff that we had marked is now, totally underwater. Our offshore stuff's back being offshore again. Everything's looking good. So let's move this back up. It really says 2014, but it gives me the same image from 2014 to 2018. So this looks like it's going to be about as good as we can get. Let's go ahead and just start up here on this upper western side. We'll work our way down, then we'll work our way back around. So first thing up here, obviously we got a boat ramp up here, but the main thing is just putting that track there for you guys to see where the main channel is. Now you've also got another channel that comes up here as well, and then you've got one that kind of swings around here. So fishing around those channels, around the edges of the bends and things like that, that's going to give you a lot of success. So pay attention to where these river channels are, these creek channels, and make sure that you're fishing anytime it makes any type of hard turn or a big swing, or it comes up and it slams up against the land on one side. Those are primo spots that you definitely want to be fishing. So as we have the water down here, let's go back here and just kind of look and see what we found here. So you can tell, you're going to have to be super careful up here. There's all kinds of stumps and things like that for you to hit. But these two little spots right in here, they've got some shell on them or something, something that's different. Right here, you can see a little bit of rock there. I don't know if it's rock or shell, and then rock or shell right in there. So those would be good areas to take a look at. The river kind of swings a little bit right there, so that might be a pretty good spot for them to set up at. And then while you're there, there's a little ditch back here that you could cut off to and actually fish it. So if I bring that up to 2022, you'll see it. That ditch is not as obvious. I don't know if you'd be able to get a boat back in there, but maybe. And then, of course, that rock that we just looked at is totally under the water as well. So some pretty good stuff back in there. Let's draw this back to 2014 again so we can get that image. And we're just going to keep on going. So here's all the different tracks. You got a pretty good little ditch here that you could probably check out as well. Pretty good little break right in it. Then you've also got this creek that comes up here. And it comes way up here. And so we've got that track marked for you pretty far up. And again, we didn't mark the entire thing, but going up to right now, this is at the lake being 20 foot down. You can see that creek channel goes pretty far back there. And you've still got some pretty good water that I think you should be able to go back there and fish, hopefully. So let's move this back. Again, sorry to keep going back, but I definitely want to show you how these images look. So as we move over here, we get off this swing that's over here. We really notice there's some more rock just kind of hidden right in here. So you'll notice it's just right up against the side there. I have no idea why. There's not a lot of rock in the area, but just that one little spot had some rock. And then, of course, we've got the track right here. And for some reason, my track is messed up. So let me move that back. I think I clicked that earlier when I was preparing for this video, and I thought I had fixed it, but apparently not. So let me pull that back down and just kind of get that going back where it needs to go. Now we're back in business. And so basically just fixing the creek channel there so you guys can see that. Now go over and over here. You do have a little, little out area where, it's gonna maybe be a little bit clearer, maybe not as turbid of water, things like that. So if the water's up and you can get back in these little spots, sometimes these can be really good little spots just to go check out. It's different. It's a little bit clearer water, stuff like that. And then of course you got this pond that's over here. You can't access it right now, but if the water was actually all the way up, that pond would come into play as well. It could be something to check out. So let's move that back. If you look at, this image, you can really see that pond. So moving back here, we've got Highway 99 boat ramp. So just mark the boat ramp for you guys. Look at all the stumps and things that you could run into here. This almost looks like Palestine. You go up there and just know that you're going to screw up your whole lower unit every time you go north. But as you move further down this bank line, not a lot going on, mainly just your main river channel arm coming all the way down through here. Didn't see too much that stuck out to me that said, hey, you need to focus here. There's a big brush pile or something like that. There's a pretty good little saddle right here. And when I'm fishing in let's say like the creek in Hubbard, in Ray Hubbard, we've got a river system that comes down from Lake Lavon. And when I'm fishing that, I love to stop at these little spots that look like this, that have these little openings, and fish them just like I would fish a regular point. And I've had a lot of success fishing that way, especially you got to pay attention to the current and then fish into the current. So your bait's coming down with the current. As long as you do that, you're positioning yourself pretty well, and you can usually pick some good fish off here. And they'll even get back in here in these little shallower areas and set up back in this stuff. But really, you could fish that whole little canal there, that saddle, and then also fish the points and probably have some success. As I move a little bit further down, just a couple different areas where there was some rock or that shell looking stuff. So maybe check those out. You've got a pretty good little creek channel swing right here. So I could see right in here there being more rock, maybe that we can't see, things like that. Some blow up, where it kind of blows out and creates a ledge. So that'd be a good spot to take a look at. You've also got a little bit of rock that's right off the edge of this point. Obviously, it doesn't look very good right now, but if we raise the water up, there is going to be some pretty good depth there. I hope you can get over there. This looks really shallow right in that area. All right, so moving back down. Again, some of this stuff is going to be tough with the water being so far down. But as we come down here, we can just kind of follow that creek channel down. Didn't see too much there, and then we kind of lose it here. It's hard to tell. It looks like it kind of goes here, but then again, it gets to where we can't see too much from that creek channel. So that's really the end of our creek channel, which is a bummer because I love fishing those creek channels. But as we get down here more into the main lake, first thing to mark for you guys is right here. We've got a really good road bed. So this is an old road bed that we've marked for you. And I don't see too much debris around the road bed, but a lot of times you'll find the hard spots around there. So just check it out. And plus that road bed's going to make a really good line around trees and things like that. And that's they'll set up according to that road bed, based on that road bed. So definitely check out those areas. You've also got a little rock out here as well. And again, if you're fishing when the lake is up here, when you're fishing this, it's going to look a lot different. So again, this is what it would look like if you were to go out there, today and take a look at what was going on. So I'm going to move this back to 2014 so we can see what's going on here. And we're going to keep on moving down. Now, as we get down here, just a lot of rock on this bank line. And this is more just, there's not too much of it on this lake, but you've definitely got a lot of it right in here. So a lot of rock. You can see where we've marked just different areas of rock that you can find just all on this bank line. Probably didn't even need to mark rock that much, but it was basically just letting you know, hey, if you want to fish a whole bank line of just solid rock, this is basically the stretch you want to go to from right here to about right here. You've got pretty consistent rock formations and stuff like that to fish around. So if they were fishing up on that side of the, on the rock and that shallow stuff, that could be a really good stretch of bank line. You could spend several hours fishing and just fishing rock. And again, there's a ramp there too, so you can see the ramp that's back in here. And that whole thing is just rock and timber. So that stretch line there looks pretty good. Now, as we move further back here, got some more rock just around this edge. A pretty decent little point right here. I like this one. I know we've said rock, rock, rock everywhere, but right in here looks really good. I don't know why, but to me, to my eye, when I'm looking for spots to fish, I'm thinking, man, that looks pretty good. It looks like you might even have a little bit of a ledge over there off the side of it. You've kind of got the same thing going on here. I could see setting up here and really working those two areas, maybe even all three of those areas, just working right in that spot. So I'm going to keep moving up here. We've got the rocky point, and then all of a sudden the rock just kind of disappears and we don't have rock anymore. You know, it's all goes back to this sandy kind of South Texas stuff. But if we move right in here, I think that this is a boat. It looks like a boat. It looks like an old bass boat or something like that. That looks like it's been flooded out. And if we raise up the water, it looks like it's going to be there. It's going to be submerged down in there. So it'd be interesting to see if that's still there or if they actually pulled that away. But it looks like there's an old boat that's there. So I'm going to keep moving up here. We get outside the edge of this point. Really, the main thing here is we really liked the way that this tree line set up. I have no idea. There's got to be boat lanes on here or something. This guy looks like he's moving along pretty good, and he's just like right in the middle of Tree City. But look at this really well-defined straight line. If you look at this tree line right here, it's just perfectly straight. I like to fish tree lines like that, like these scattered ones that are like this. I just don't know. I see them. I know there's a lot of potential there to catch fish, but the problem for me when I get in an area like that is I'm like, okay, I have no idea what to fish. It all looks good, or pretty much it all looks crappy because I don't ever do good when I get into situations like that. But if I go up onto a lake and I can find a very defined tree line just like this, almost like a fence line was there previously, then I've got something to work with. Then it's no longer a tree field to me. It's just a tree line. It's just a line that I need to fish. And that's usually when I'll start having a lot more success. I get on the outside of those tree lines and just start working them. It's a hard pattern to fish. It's definitely one of those things, you know, you want to do in the fall, the winter and stuff like that when they're suspending, but it's definitely a way that you can catch fish. So anyways, we mark this tree line for you. If you look, it goes straight up, makes a 90-degree turn that comes right here. So that could have some potential if you're into that kind of fishing. All right, so as we move a little bit further up here, just a couple different spots with rock to check out. You've got some more rock that finally starts right in here. You can see it. They're just like little bitty rock points. So just some real shallow rock. Well, actually it's shallow here, but it's not going to be that shallow when I move it up. It's going to be fairly shallow, but not too bad. So then moving that back to 2014, we got some more rock that's out here off this point. That looks really good. You know, just these little spots, these random little hard spots with rock on them are going to be great spots to look at. They're definitely going to collect fish there, and they're going to collect other things that are going to bring the fish in. Another little rock pile right there. And then out here, this one looks the best to me. I like how this one curves in. So, you know, you've got a little bit of a contour change going on right in this area, a little place for them to kind of push bait and capture them in here. There could be some more rock right here off this area too. So we pull that out, you know, that totally changes. Everything looks completely different. So I would definitely fish right in here. That looks like a really good spot to fish. Let's go ahead and move that back and keep going down. I think we're still good on time. We'll keep going and see how far we can get. So we get back in here. You've heard me talk a lot about fishing pond dams in Texas. And if you haven't, then you probably haven't watched very many videos, because pond dams in Texas can really, really be the deal, especially in the summertime. For me, it's a summertime thing. If I can find them on those pond dams, like it can be a consistent pattern across the lake, and it can be very good, like really good sized fish. So take a look at these pond dams, especially when the water gets up a little bit more. I think you're going to have some success. You know, fish the insides of the pond dams and also fish the outside of the pond dams as well. A lot of people just fish the outside. I like to fish the inside more than the outside. And then as we move further down, we just got some more ponds here to take a look at. Another one here. Got some more rock that's back in here as well. So if we look in here, there's some debris there too we missed. But right here, see just off the edge there, we've got some rock. We've also got some additional rock that's right here off the edge too. Then moving down, I could have just marked flooded timber on this entire lake because it's everywhere. But right down here, we actually have a good little road bed that's going through. Now, we couldn't necessarily connect it because I can't see it, but obviously, if it starts here and ends there, there's probably something down there in the middle that we need to take a look at. All right, so moving on over, we get over here to this side. We got another good road bed that's right through here. I thought maybe that pond dam, that we would have the ability to fish that, but even when I bring the water up, that pond dam is still kind of out of the water. Looks too shallow, but maybe, possibly, you could get back in here, or at least fish around the outside edge of it and have some success. And if you're lucky enough to squeeze back in here, maybe fish that backside right there. I'm gonna move this back down to our image. We're gonna keep going. We've got the road beds we talked about. We've got some more rock that's in here too. So right here off the edge, you can see some rock that's over in there. And then moving up here, we've got a boat ramp. You can take a look at the boat ramp. This looks like an old road bed or something going on. You don't really see it connecting over here. So maybe it was just a little walkway that they put out here. I have no idea what this is, but lots of good riprap around this thing. Maybe it's just a little fishing pier that they've created to allow you to go out there and fish around. But that is going to be a good spot to look at for sure. You know, having that rock there and not having a lot of rock in the area too, that just makes it an even better spot. Moving out here, you've got kind of an old, what appears to be a pond, but maybe not a pond. But you definitely have, you know, what looks like the old pond, an old pond dam, or at least it's setting up like that. So you've got some rock right on the edges of these two little points. You got one right there, and maybe even an old pond dam that sticks out off the edge of this right in here too. It's kind of hard to tell. I didn't mark it for you guys because I couldn't tell, but would be something that you might want to take a look at. Again, let's move that up and just kind of show you guys that. You'll see that pond dam. You'll know that it's there because you'll see the cover that's right there. But fish just off the outside edges of those, and I think you'll have you'll find some fish there for sure. All right, so keep moving up. You didn't see too much up in this area. We've got some rock off the edges of some of these points. So if you look at each one of the points, they're all different, but some of them appear to have some rock right off the edges of them. And the ones that did, we went ahead and marked for you. So you can see rock on those two. We've also got some more rock that's right off the edge of this one. Maybe even a little bit right in there too. It's kind of hard to tell. But anyways, you want to get off that ledge, get out there where it gets a little bit harder. If you can get that rock in there, that's really going to increase your chances. Now, again, we've got another little stretch here where we just see a lot of different little pockets of rock. Right here off this point, some pretty good rock. Little good stretch of rock basically from this point all the way up to this point. You can see you've got really good like little rock ledge or something going on right in this area. As we move further over here, some more rock right off these little secondary points that are here. More right in there. Look at all this junk right here. Big old, that might not even be rock. That might just be debris of some sort, but that looks good. Anytime you see stuff like that, you know fish are going to love it. You've also got some really interesting stuff going on right over here off these little points. It appears to be rock, but hard to say if that's really rock or not, but it appears to be. You've got some more right in here. And then right here, this little point that comes out, it looks really good. And then I'm going to keep moving down. And the next thing that we're going to get to is a road bed that's out here. So this road bed cuts through, and I believe it even goes all the way up there. I think there's even a spot where you could see it connect. And it was kind of hard to tell here. You can see the old remnants of it here. Probably connects from here to about right there, but check a look at that. Also look on the outside of that island where we've got it marked. We couldn't mark it here because we kind of lost it, but I would imagine that it's somewhere right in here. And see if you can find that road bed. If there is a road bed there, maybe there's an old culvert down there or something to fish. They're always worth checking out. They're always worth just taking the boat and taking the time to scan down it and scan back down it the other way just to see if you can find anything there. All right, so we're going to keep moving. We talked about those rocks. We've also got another pond dam that's over here you can look at. Really more just a pond, not really a good, well-defined dam on that one. Got some rock that's outside the edge over here. Some more rock off the outside edge of this point. Again, seeing the kind of the same thing here. And just, again, it's just these little points that stick out, and on the very edges of them is where you're going to start finding the rock. Or at least something different. It looks like rock. Right here, you've got some really good like ledge or different kind of rock or something. It looks like really like that really fine kind of rock right in this area, but this looks like it could have some really good potential. Looks like it's got a pretty good break there. And of course, being a hard spot too, in a spot where there's not a lot of hard areas, that could definitely be a good spot right in there. Got this little pond dam back here. Of course, we've got offshore stuff that's marked out here that's not offshore anymore, like I talked about. But potentially, if the water was really deep, this would be a good offshore spot. Going back in here, we've also got another pond. Now, this one actually makes a pretty good pond dam. This one does too. And this one has a pretty good pond dam as well. I like the pond dams when they have the, where they're blowing out off the backside. You kind of got the creek channel that runs out of them. Those are my favorite kind of pond dams to fish, but these pond dams work as well. As long as there's a pretty good pond dam there that creates somewhat of a ledge somewhere where they can go and ambush bait and push it up into that spot, that's usually going to be where you're going to find the fish. So let's keep moving down here. Let's see how much further we have to go. We have quite a bit of the lake to go. So let's go down. We'll finish right at the edge of this point, and then our next video, we'll go back and we'll circle down back through the rest of the lake. So I'm going to keep going down here. As we move further down, we've also got some more rock off these points. So definitely look at those little unique, isolated, rocky areas. Here, I don't know why it says structure, but it's actually, I guess it's a man-made structure. So it looks like maybe like a concrete slab or something like that. But check it out, see what you can find out there. And then moving down, we've got another roadbed, right? Here's the roadbed coming through. Of course, normally if the water was up, this would all be under the water. And remember when I talked about, following the roadbeds, even if they're not concrete, usually if you follow them, you'll start to find hard spots. Like here's a little hard spot in here. And I know we're not talking underwater right now, but eventually that would be underwater. So just that little area in there could have some potential. But follow that roadbed down. We've marked it for you guys. Follow it down and see what you can find. You're definitely going to do good, fishing out like this, just kind of fishing a little half circle around each one of them and see what you can find out in here. But I guarantee that's going to be a pretty good spot to try and locate some fish. You've also got a little point that's out here. Now, I know it doesn't look good right now because this is so shallow and the water's down so much, but almost like a pond dam possibly. It was hard to tell, but it definitely made a little point that was out here, and I really like this area right in there, just that little spot. All right, so we're going to keep moving, and the next thing really that we're going to find is those scattered spots where that rock is, right? So just going to zoom in for you, and we're just going to zoom through them real quick. Here it looks like potential like old roadbed possibly, but it looked like it had some rock around it. All of those areas right in there. You can see right in here, something weird is going on. We've also got a little bit of a rock right in here, like a ridge or something. And then moving further over to here, this looks interesting too. I'm again, think it's rock, but it's possible that it could just be really dried out. And so it's making it look like it's rock, but check out those spots. Hopefully they are rocky spots for you guys. Right in here, we've got some more little hard area right there off that little point that comes out right in the back of that. It's actually a pretty decent little ledge right there too. So if we pulled the water up, again, that's going to look a lot different. There's that little ledge, and of course the rock's right on top of it. So move it back to 2017 or 14 or whatever image they want to give us here. And we're going to move on up. Next thing I find would be up here. So you got a little bit of rock, something going on right here, just right off this little bend. Almost looks like a creek channel comes swinging through here. But right in there, that looks really good. There's also some rock that you can see down through the water right in here. Something going on right there, like a little hump, little island, something's definitely out there. You've also got some more rocky areas just right here, right off the edge of the point right there. So that swings us out around to the end of the point. We're going to just talk about this roadbed real quick. Obviously, you see it here. It stretches all the way through there. We talked about it over here. It runs through on top of this flat, runs all the way through, and actually connects way down through here. So you could potentially get out here. We couldn't find it anymore out here. We assume it's a straight line, but you know what it means when they say assume. You should never assume. So it could go out here and turn and come back, whatever. But these are the spots we could actually verify where it is. But check out that roadbed. Make sure you scan that roadbed, see if you can find anything on it. And then the last two spots would just be right over in here where there's just some random little rocky points that come off of this flat that you should probably check out. So that wraps us up for the Choke Canyon Google Earth episode 1. We'll follow this back up next week with another video for the Google Earth for episode 2. And what we'll do is we'll start, since there's really nothing down here to mark for you guys, we'll talk about that pond, and then we'll switch over here and we'll work our way all the way back up north, back up to the river where we started. So guys, I hope this is helping you out. Make sure to go check out our site, simplisticfishing.com. We put all these waypoints out there for you. We'll add them to your graphs for you. We can put them on a card, get the right format for you, to where basically all you got to do is just plug and play. So it is going to change the way you fish. It has helped us out tremendously, and we're super happy to share with everybody. Make sure to go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. And until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.